How's it going, guys? Mega Gears here. So I decided to give a brief rundown review of Green Lantern Earth 1. Start by saying the book's pretty great. I've really haven't heard too many talk about too many of the Earth 1 books. It seems like a lot of people do not like Batman. I haven't read it. I've heard people talk about it. Doesn't really sound like something that interests me. I've heard Wonder Woman is pretty decent. But that's about it. I've heard Teen Titans, like it's pretty abysmal. Like I heard that Nightwing actually doesn't even show up in there. Like quite a few of the members of the Teen Titans aren't even in the book. But yeah, the art's pretty great. I'll start by saying that, and it feels like an Elseworlds book. And it's interesting because there's certain changes. There's a lot of changes in the book, but the changes make sense. It's one of those things where as many things change, a lot of things stay the same, and at its core it still feels like a Green Lantern book, which is crazy because all the things that they did, it still feels familiar. So here's the thing. Hal Jordan, I never knew Hal's whole name is Harold. I don't know if it actually is Harold or if they just decided to do that for the book. I've never really actually thought of looking that up. I just took it, Hal Jordan, whatever. And he is actually an astronaut instead of a test pilot. And Ferris Air actually is Ferris like Galactic or something like that. So they're not a test pilot company. They're actually private company for interplanetary space travel, pretty much. So they go in there, they're doing this, and the cool thing is that Hal is adventurous, but he's not as kind of witty and sarcastic as you would think of him in this version. He's actually seems like he's played by guilt, and you'll find that out that everyone kind of has this thing where it's kind of a reoccurring theme of pretty much standing up and being the one to say this isn't right, because the Ferris company has done some really crooked, corrupt stuff, and Hal Jordan went along with it. And it's kind of the call to action is finding this ship on the moon or whatever. And it's funny because they're miners. They go mine resources for people's like phones, all that type of stuff. But they find this ship here, and when him and another guy go with him on it, and you see Abin Sur, he's already dead. So they basically take the ring and leave, and you see a manhunter. Now the cool thing about this book is that Kilowog gets a lot of play. Him and Aricia have some of the coolest like moments in that book, and it's weird the way they've done Aricia. She's less of a she was kind of like the youngest member, kind of had like a crush on Hal Jordan, and it was kind of that thing where she was, I guess you could say, kind of like the cheerleader. And this one, she's a really cool warrior, and she has this really cool leadership mentality. Now the thing is, she only shows up a couple times, but the time she shows up in the book, it's nice. She's one of those people that doesn't have a lot of, I guess, shows up a lot in the book, but the time she shows up in very important, cool moments. So yeah, guys, the art's really cool. I like the way they use the art for it. It really stands out. It looks different from the standard superhero comic, but even though it's different, it doesn't look like standard superhero comic book art. I still really like the art and the colors and the inks and stuff like that. Kilowog is pretty interesting because he still acts like Kilowog, but he's a little bit more tamed down, and he doesn't say poozers, which is funny because that's his whole thing. He's like, drop it, give me 50 poozers. He's like, what are you doing? You call that, we're going to do boot camp. I'm going to train and whip all you losers into shape to make all the best Green Lanterns. Like, none of that happens. But him and Hal Jordan's friendship over the book is pretty nice. So yeah, guys, it's weird because I know graphic novels don't seem to be doing as well, but there's a lot of really cool stuff out here. Really nice graphic novels. I think the next one I'm probably going to pick up is Jim Starlin's Thanos book, the newest one that came out. Unfortunately, he was writing another one and Marvel just did him wrong. But yeah, guys, if you've read Green Lantern Earth 1, what did you think? If you haven't, does this sound something that would be interesting to you to check out? What were your thoughts? Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next.